I want to talk to you guys today about something that concerns everybody, not just people who are Christian like myself, or people who want to learn things from the Bible for whatever reason, but just anybody who's alive. There's something I've learned recently. Well, I guess I learned it a while ago, but it was re-impressed on me uh, by some recent books that I've read, and also some uh, YouTube videos I remember watching by a guy of the name Jordan Peterson. And nicely put, or made to sound pleasant, I guess you could say that this topic is about choosing your battles. But to put it bluntly, it's more like knowing when a part of you needs to die. And that sounds strange, I get it, but just hear me out. So, the reason that you could say that it's called choosing your battles is, well, the world, well, as people my age are fond of pointing out, and I'm 21 by the way, the world is full of a lot of pain and unreasonable or unjustifiable suffering. You know, whether you're an illegal immigrant, or sorry, just well, actually, I'm not sorry, but whether you're fleeing your home country because of violence and yet you can't be accepted into your new country in a timely fashion, or someone is just maliciously trying to cause you harm for no reason, or maybe you I don't know, you've developed bad habits and you realize that they're starting to bring you down. But whatever the situation is, you want to pick your battles wisely, because if you don't pick where you stand on a battlefield, then other people are going to pick for you. And believe me, you want to be able to pick where you make your stand, because even though you're still in a war against whoever it is or whatever it is, yourself, other countries, other people, you're going to get hurt, and maybe sometimes pretty bad. But at least when you pick your own battles, you have a chance of knowing what the purpose of your pain is and why you're going through the pain. Whether it's, like I mentioned before, to get the citizenship that you were after, or to, make someone that's been hurting you realize just how deeply they're hurting you, or whether it's to, realize how you've been hurting yourself somehow. But when you don't choose and other people choose for you, you you won't know why you're getting hurt. It won't seem justified, and that'll make it all the much worse, because as far as you can see, there's no reason for you to be hurting. To your eyes, you haven't done anything wrong. But and that leads me to why a plainer version of choosing your battles is knowing when a piece of you needs to die. Because there's something to be said for the imagery of the phoenix, which, if you're not familiar, is, dying in fire and being reborn from the ashes. That's noble and right. But when you can feel that a part of you isn't right, or, is just plain up wrong, it's important that you choose to kill that part of yourself, to burn it away from you, to kill off the dead wood, as you might say, in order to help a tree live better. And maybe, hopefully, if you choose what parts of you were to burn away, then you can choose where the burning stops, so that you don't burn living flesh, something that's still good to you. Whereas, as I said earlier, if someone else chooses what part of you burns, or, um, no one is able to control which part of you burns for whatever reason, due to outside forces or powers beyond your control, then more than likely, either not enough of the dead part is going to burn away, and you're going to be left with this cancer that's just a part of you, sucking away parts of your life and ultimately, detracting from your experience here on Earth. Or perhaps most likely of the options is that it'll burn away too much. And I don't know if you've ever been burnt. I've been burned a time or two by literal fire. I was an idiot, and I decided to pick up a burning stick that wasn't on fire that I could see, but I held on to it for a little bit too long, and the heat from the fire burned through the gloves I was wearing and actually burned my hand pretty bad. And it didn't feel too good. And that's about what I imagine that getting burned, uh, metaphorically, I guess you could say, would feel. And, yeah. There's one caution I would give you, though, in choosing your battles. You want to think really carefully about how you go about picking your battles, because if you pick the wrong battle, you pick the wrong part of you to burn away, then you're doing the opposite you're doing the opposite to yourself of a favor. You're If you pick unwisely, you could actually be doing yourself some pretty serious harm. For example, if you, I don't know, if say you've been betrayed or mistreated somehow, whether that's in a relationship or by your family or something, and you choose to burn away the part of you that is the part that cares about other people, or the part of you that is trusting and loving towards others, I'm afraid you just made a really big mistake, and one that you'll probably regret for the rest of your life, or at the very least, long past the amount of time that it takes for it to grow back once you've realized your mistake. And that's because, well, with those parts of your life specifically, that's what makes life worth it. Like, if you don't care about people, or you don't love anyone, and you don't trust anyone, what are you even here for? There's, honestly, like, even though other people can sometimes be the reason for the most of your pain, they're what make it worth it. Having friends that are there for you friends like I have, Trey and Fabian, if you're watching this, you guys are lads. Um, you know, having parents or loving your parents for everything that they've done for you and just for being there for you whenever you need them to be. Having teachers who care about you and noticing their care by the way that they push you to your limits and the way that they, along with your parents and your friends, expect the best from you. That's not them trying to put you down by their expectations. That's them trying to make you rise up to the occasion so that you can be what you were always meant to be. And just, yeah, no matter what you do, never give up those loving and caring parts of yourselves. Burn away other things. Anger, hate, I don't know, malice, avarice, parsimony, all the other sins. Burn it away. You don't need it. It's only gonna keep you down. Greed, cast it off. Be generous. I recently have learned the pleasures of being generous. I used to be really tight-fisted with all my money and my things. You can even ask any of my friends. You know, I wouldn't give anything to a common cause because it was mine. I earned it. I bought it with my own money and my own labor, and that means that I didn't need to share it with anyone, regardless of whether, they were sharing with me. But it didn't bring me any happiness or any fulfillment would be a better word, because happiness is fleeting. But when I realized that I need to start treating other people better than I treat myself, and try to be generous just for the sake of other people, it it's very satisfying. You know, they thank you, and they say, oh, you didn't have to do that, and blah blah blah, and that's not what it's about. Sure, it might feel nice to have someone owe you a bit of gratitude, but you know that doesn't really mean a whole lot beside the fact that you've done something good and honest and trustworthy. Well, I don't know if trustworthy is the right word. Honorable? Pick your battles. Learn what makes you weak. Truly weak, not vulnerable, because vulnerability is what makes you human, and you can't sacrifice that no matter how hard you try. No matter how hot the fire is, or how sharp the knife is that you try to cut away at your vulnerability, it's always going to be there. No matter how hard you try to make yourself, or calloused you try to make yourself to the pain of the world, it's not going to work. Somehow, something is going to get through to you, but because you've only hardened yourself and you haven't strengthened yourself by doing hard things like burning away, the dead parts of yourself and all that, you're not going to have the strength to withstand it, and you're going to shatter like glass. And it's not good. I know that pretty much goes without saying, but I don't know. And all this isn't to say that burning away... Well, actually, I might have already said this, but I think I'll say it again. and I can get rid of it in the video if I have to. But just to reiterate here, just because you've decided to get away or do away with a weakness doesn't mean that the process of doing away with it won't hurt you. It's whatever it was still a part of you. You know, no matter whether, I don't know, your hand has a disease in it, or maybe you got bitten by a snake or something in your hand, and there's venom, I believe is the term, in your hand, and you have to cut it off in order to keep the rest of your body protected from it. The consolation of losing the poison may be small in the moment of, or compared to the pain that you feel from having lost your hand. But as with most pains, in the long run, you'll see that it was worth it, and that you gained something by having experienced it. So, I don't know if I have anything else to say about this. If I do, I guess I'll put it in another video. If you've watched this far, thanks. And pass on the news. Let your friends know. Let your family know. Not necessarily about this channel or anything like that, but let them know what it means to be strong. What you learned here today. Thanks for watching. Colonel's in. Colonel's out.